Good morning. Every year in July, when I go to renew the plates of my car, the Jesus Jeep, I have the option of renewing the plates to include the access to all the Michigan state parks. And this allows me to access the natural areas that are protected by the state. It's a beautiful feature. And since I love the Holy Land, I have to speak about that. In the Holy Land, there is something similar. Israel has beautiful state parks and nature reserves. So I have a map. This is the Holy Land, the land of Jesus. And Jesus had such a good taste because there are many beautiful places in the Holy Land. In the most northern part of Israel, there is what is called today the Banias Nature Reserve, which includes the Hermon Springs. Is way up north. Actually, is at the top of this map. And this is where the Jordan River begins. And this is the border between Israel and Lebanon. Right now, these areas have been evacuated due to the war, as a preventive measure in case of an attack from their northern neighbors. So at the heart of that nature reserve was located the ancient city of Caesarea Philippi, which is mentioned in today's gospel. Way up there. That's where the Jordan River begins, and it starts to flow south to water the Sea of Galilee, and then it continues going all the way to the Dead Sea. If it wasn't for the Jordan River, there will be no water in the Holy Land. So that's where it starts. In this place of today's episode of the Gospel, fresh water is constantly flowing and is gushing out from the earth, from the rock, giving birth to the Jordan River. So you have to imagine and you have to hear this constant flow of water as the background for the conversation between Jesus and his disciples today. Jesus and his disciples set out for the villages of Caesarea Philippi. Along the way, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say that I am?" And you hear the water constantly flowing as Jesus asks the question and the disciples give their answers. They say, "John the Baptist." Others say, "Elijah." Still others, "One of the prophets." And the water keeps flowing and flowing and flowing. And he asks them, "But who do you say that I am?" And Peter said in reply, "You are the Christ." Remember, this was a Roman pagan city, Caesarea Philippi. And here is where Jesus began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer greatly. And here is where he taught them about his death and his resurrection. And he spoke about this openly in this city of Caesarea Philippi. And you keep hearing the water flowing and flowing and flowing as the Jordan River is being born. And it is in this Roman city that Jesus also spoke about the image of the cross. It was the Romans who invented the cross as a gruesome instrument of torture. It is here that Jesus told them that in order to be his disciples, we had to take our cross, carry it, and follow him. Resilience. Being a disciple of Jesus is not for the faint of heart. Now, Peter couldn't understand this. The first reading of today also speaks of suffering. It's the image of the suffering servant of Isaiah, chapter 50. It's the perfect image of resilience in the face of injustice, an unjust accusation. Even in the second reading of today, we also hear about faith and works amidst the suffering of the poor who are the best examples of resilience amidst adversity. Eventually, Jesus would give his life for us on an actual cross. Remember, the water is constantly flowing as Jesus is talking to his disciples. Whoever wishes to come after me must deny himself, take up his cross and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake and that of the gospel will save it. And Jesus himself eventually carried that cross, and he gave us an example of resilience. From the cross, from his side, at his side was split open. It was not only blood that flowed out, but also water, just like the Jordan. Even the most horrific experience of the cross could be transformed by the Lord into an instrument of life and of resurrection. The Jordan River is a perfect example of resilience, as it is a very small river. If you compare the Jordan River to the Saginaw River is huge, because the Jordan River is tiny, it's really small. That flows north to south, watering the entire Holy Land, a very rugged land. The Jordan River is a perfect example of resilience. God can use even the most hostile environments to channel his life-giving water. I don't know what kind of crosses we are carrying with us today. Unless we carry the cross, we cannot be disciples of Jesus anyways. Whatever crosses we bring with us on our shoulders, the Lord looks with compassion on our resilience, and he carries the cross with us. And from his side, he gives us his life-giving water, like on Good Friday, and like the resilient Jordan River did on that day at Caesarea Philippi. Amen.